Hi everyone, this is Caly. Thanks so much for being here with me today. I am sharing 2 cards using some holiday dies from Birch Press Design. The latest collection from Birch Press Design, Memory Box, as well as Poppy Stamps are all wonderful holiday products. My 2 cards today are going to feature the Revello ornament here, as well as the Jolly Holly contour layers. Those 2 I'm going to use on a second card. My first card is going to feature the Hillside branch and Bramble contour layers, budding twigs, oval leaves, and this Splendid Poinsettia contour layers dies. So to save some filming time, I did all of the die cutting off camera. Before we start putting everything together, I want to show you how these Birch Press Design dies are stored in their folders with a little printout to show you how your dies should look once they are put together. So now I am showing you all of the pieces pre-die cut off camera. I've also used some specialty paper. Memory Box has some great packs of paper that have mirror paper, as well as glitter cardstock in a variety of colors. I'm using 3 different paper pads today, and I'll be sure to link them below for you. And then lastly, we have die cuts from the Hillside branch and Bramble set. I was drawn to this set. I just love the different branches and layers to this set. All right, I've set all the other die cuts aside, and we're going to work on the poinsettia first. I'm going to ink blend these pink pieces here with some watermelon ink to give them a bit more color and texture, and it's going to create some depth on our poinsettia. And after all of the ink is applied, I'm going to use some liquid glue to adhere all the pieces and layers together to form the layered poinsettia. These pink layers here are going to be adhered right over those red layers, and it fits perfectly, so it's not very hard to line up at all. And if you need any help, again, refer to the printout that's in the little folders for these dies, and that's a really good visual. This little red piece here is a bit of a detail to show that this petal is curled. And as you can see, I am referring to the package insert because I wanted to see where that little piece should go. And it's going to help me line up where the next 3 layers are going to go for this poinsettia. And as you can see, this detailed poinsettia is so textured and different and unique from other poinsettia dies that you might have seen. Now I'm going to work on the foliage that comes with this die set. There are 2 leaves, and I'm just going to ink blend that top layer just like I did with the poinsettia petals, and then I'll adhere them over that background base. And then I'll tuck the leaves up there underneath that poinsettia, and I'll just continue to create a visual for myself as I put all my different branches and twigs together. So this is the oval leaf branches, and I've just die cut one of the branches out of the 3 or 4 that are part of that die set, and I'll just simply put those together without ink blending. Then I'll work on the budding twigs, which I have die cut in a variety of purple cardstock. There are 3 layers to each of these twigs, so I've used some glitter cardstock for that middle layer to add some sparkles and some shine. And then for the Hillside branch and Bramble contour layers, there are some pine branches here that I'm ink blending with some green again, and then this other berry branch that I'm also ink blending to add some shading to those leaves. And then I'll add some brown ink to finish that final layer for that branch as well. This brown branch is going to be adhered right over that foliage branch with the berries. And once that is in place, I can go ahead and add some liquid adhesive and adhere my glitter berries over their designated areas. And there's going to be some extra berries, and we'll use that later. For the background, I'm going to use this PINPOINT radial plate. It's such a handy one to have in your stash. I have used this several times on many of my Birch Press Design cards. I've used some. Because of the stippling on that background, I wanted to make sure that it stays down, so I'm using some strong double-sided adhesive on the back of that to adhere it to a card base. And right now, I am roughly laying out all of my pieces to make sure that I get a good layout before I adhere everything down. So once everything's in place, I'm going to remove that poinsettia, and then I'm going to start adhering all the pieces where they roughly were, making sure that there's none hanging off the card. Sometimes I like some hanging off, but this time I decided to keep everything within the confines of that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. And as you can see, I trimmed off a few of those branches to make sure that they fit nicely without overlapping and causing some more additional bulk that's not necessary underneath the poinsettia. I did adhere that oval leaf branch with some 3D foam square, and then I can add the rest of my berries here and there. And this little berry at the bottom, I did trim it off the original branch, so I was just repurposing it. And for a sentiment, there are some great dies that came out with this release as well, but I just wanted a simple sentiment strip, so I'm using the reverse Christmas Wishes set from Simon Says Stamp. I've trimmed one down, and now I am just finishing off this card with a few Christmas jewels from the Memory Box collection, and that finishes my first card. My second card is going to be a lot more simple. Again, I'm using the Revello Ornament die. There are 3 layers to this die set. My bottom thickest layer is die cut from a white glitter cardstock. The second layer is from a plain white piece of cardstock, and that third layer is from silver mirror cardstock. Again, all of that cardstock is from the Memory Box paper pad collections, which I'll link below. And then for the ornament topper, I am using this little ornament topper that I die cut from the Christmas Ornament pop-up easel die, and that's an older die that I have on hand. Now, to decorate this card, I'm using the Jolly Holly contour layers. I'm putting these berries together, and the darker pieces that you see are red glitter cardstock, so they are just going to add a bit of shine to those berries. I'm adding some green ink to those top layers again, and then adhering them over their darker respective layers at the bottom. So once these are all put together, again, I'm going to die cut a background. This time I'm using the Pinpoint contour layer. It's a more simple design, and it kind of reminds me of snowdrifts, which is also appropriate for a holiday card. And like I did on my first card, I'm just laying out where I want the pieces to go before I adhere things down. My first 2 leaves there are going to be adhered with liquid adhesive, and then I'll adhere the third with some foam adhesive squares to make sure there's some dimension on there and to kind of match the height of that ornament topper. I'll adhere the berries here and there with some foam adhesive as well to match the height of that topper and the 3 different layers on my ornament. And then to finish my card, I'm going to use a simple sentiment strip again from the same set that I used on my first card, which is from the Reverse Christmas Wishes sentiment set from Simon Says Stamp. I've added some foam adhesive to the ends to make sure that it doesn't interfere with that ornament, and then use my T-ruler to make sure everything is lined up nice and straight. So there you have it, 2 holiday cards using the latest dies from Birch Press Design. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, if you're interested in any of the products that I use, be sure to check out the links below, or you could refer back to the coordinating blog posts. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.